And I really appreciate Amy and Dan Darty for being our sponsors for this segment. I'd now like to turn it over to Chris Course, who moderates this for us, the owner of Conowingo Models. So, Chris, welcome.
Hi, thanks, Jim. Welcome, everyone. And we'll go ahead and get moving on to the PowerPoint. Tonight, of course, tonight is June 29th. The next My Build is July 20th. And it's, of course, featuring you. So if you have any slides to share with us, or photos to share with us, rather, drop me an email at railrunner130@hotmail.com, and we'll be sure to put you in there. All right, I'm your host, Chris Course, and I'm actually going to share something tonight, something I've been working on for a little while now. It's kind of been on the back burner since I first came up with it, but I'm going to bring it forth tonight and show you guys for the first time. And this is actually what is called a truckable push boat. And it's something I stumbled upon probably about 10 minutes from the house. And I wasn't sure what it was until I started doing some research and figured it out. So you see in the upper left corner there is some of the pictures that I used to design this little boat. And the first draft is in the bottom right corner there. We're working on getting the front of the pilot house done, and I think this is going to be a neat little kit. And as you see in the picture in the upper left, it looks like it's sitting on top of a lowboy. It's been sitting on top of a lowboy for a long time because those tires are flat, and the whole thing is sitting on the ground. But what I'm looking to do is we're going to put it on a depressed center flat car that we're going to put together. I did design version 1 of that, and it's just very flimsy, so I've got to go back to the drawing board on that. But in doing this, I came upon had to do some research on it, and near as I can figure, these are two similar boats that I found on the internet. And the one on the right was built in 1948, and I believe it was built by the same company that built these two, just because they look very similar. And the two above were built by the U.S. Engineers Boatyard in Jessenade, Missouri. And I was trying to figure out what the writing was on the side of the boat. At first, I thought it was Duke of something or other. I couldn't make any sense out of it until I figured out it looks like it's Corps of Engineers is what it really says. Because if you look at it, you can kind of make out the Duke of, and then I couldn't figure out I could tell there was a bunch of E's in there, but that was about it. So I was kind of hoping it would be a nice little named after a river or something that it would have been in, but no such luck.
What's it used for, Chris?
It was used at one point to push around barges.
Ah, okay.
And near as I can figure, it was used mainly in like river type applications. Being where we are, I imagine it was probably used to push barges up and down the Chesapeake.
Gotcha.
And it's truckable, so basically you bring it over to an area, you hoist it up with a crane, and you drop it on a truck and then move it to somewhere else.
Gotcha. That's neat.
Yeah, the two above, I believe, are newer than the push boat that I've found, because they're listed as having twin screws, whereas the one that I've been working on only has a single screw. So I'm thinking it might be early in the war or maybe even pre-war.
Yeah.
The one on the left has a smaller bottom to the hull, hasn't it?
Yeah, and in fact, if you look at this one, it does look significantly different.
Mm-hmm.
You can see the family resemblance, but it's not the same.
Mm-hmm.
What are the yellow circles?
Those that's part of the mystery. That's what I'm trying to figure out, is why in the world does if you notice the circles go around some poles. not quite sure what the purpose of those poles was, because of the push boats that I found, I don't see any use for those at all.
Maybe they
Yeah.
hung flags on them.
That's a possibility.
Uh,
But,
huh.
You don't think they're railings, Chris?
I don't think so. Well, the one on the left is way too big to be a railing.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a good side pole in the back and
Are they actual objects, or are they something that was drawn in by something to highlight something, maybe the poles themselves?
the circles.
Yeah.
Yeah, I put the circles on there to
Oh,
highlight
there
the
you go.
poles.
Yeah, there you go. So they're all wondering what the yellow circles are for.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I was wondering. What on earth's the yellow circle for?
Yeah, the yellow circles around those poles that are on there, and I'm not sure what the poles are for.
Chris put in the yellow circles, Jim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the poles are there to hold up the yellow circles as far as I can tell.
Yeah, most likely.
I definitely don't think you should model the circles. I don't think you should include them.
I kind of like the circle.
Maybe it represents a rope that you throw on the poles.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. They're all bent up, and I'm not sure what the purpose of those.
You know how tugboats always have old tires on them to protect them when they bump into the dock or whatever. Those look like it's such a small boat. It's a bicycle inner tube.
Yeah.
That's a neat model.
Yeah, I think it'll be fairly popular,
Something
or at least I'm
totally,
hoping it will be. But
totally different.
yeah, near as I can figure, the area behind the pilot house is going to be the engine room,
Mhm.
and that the glass is in there just for, I guess maybe if you want to keep an eye on the engines, the engine. I don't know. So, all right. So we will move on and go to Martin. You there, Martin? Still?
Nope, I'm still not here.
We're all here because we're not all there.
Yeah. Well, if we weren't here, we'd be somewhere else, right? Because
Yeah.
everywhere, everything has to be somewhere.
Alrighty.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's just a little car I dashed out
A little car.
just for fun. Just 3 wooden tanks on a flat with a ladder. And actually, that side of it, if you pull the pins out, the sides, that side actually is hinged. So it actually drops down. I don't know if that's on the next slide or not. No, it's the other side. Well, the other side's boring. But this was fun to put together because there's a taper in that, and I made an inner cylinder sort of to put boards around it, and they're all beveled and they're tapered because it's because of that cone-like structure. But the inside there is 2 discs that I cut out with a hole saw on my drill press. And what I've learned is that I think it's my 1 7/8 inch hole saw needs to be replaced because I almost started a fire drilling through the pine to make the 3 pieces that size. But the nice thing about doing it with this hole saw, of course, is you've got a hole in the middle, so that everything aligns nicely. You just run a piece of dowel through the top and the bottom. It's connected. A little bit of glue and everything holds together, and then you just wrap around it with strip wood. I think that's varying 3x stock of all different sizes. And it's one of those, I think this is the first time where I actually made bands out of styrene instead of brass. I'm not sure what possessed me. Because it turns out I'm out of styrene that size now, and I actually needed some today. But brass is actually what I usually use, and I usually make them to fit the actual barrel so they're pressure fitted on. The hatches are just resin castings that I make, and that's underneath them. It all is that my standard boxcar. But I thought, just to be funky and fun, I put this on a pair of Fox trucks just to be different, which are kind of scarce in O-scale. They've only been made available, I think, on 3 separate occasions in the last 75 years. And the most recent ones are from Rich Yoder, and they're bit dear to be putting underneath a scratch build car. I have a philosophical impediment to putting $60 or $50 trucks underneath a little wooden car that I dash out in a week. What else did I send you?
Yeah, let's see here.
Oh, it's the
Mark?
top. It's the top of the car.
Yep.
Yeah, well, I put some valves on it too. You got to you got to drain it out somehow. So, yeah, those are little brass castings from Wiseman and some brass tubing. You just solder it together, pop it through, and now you've got drain lines. I don't know what's
Martin,
inside.
excuse me, is this another one of those quintessential Brickfield pickle cars?
No, no. Maybe molasses. I'm thinking molasses or something to that effect. You need something on your pancakes. Maple syrup. There you go. Or if you could put crude oil in there for all I care. And, being possible in that era, the Dunsmore tank cars were something not too far away from this, except I think they were only 2 tanks on a car. I think there was a 3-tank version. Oh, well.
Fish. You can
Fish.
transport fish in them.
There you go. We could stock the streams of Pennsylvania with speckled trout, right? There you go. Okay. Well, that's enough silliness, or not. Oh, didn't I send that to you already? Oh, well.
I don't recall, but I just I put in your slideshow that you sent me. So.
Well, I seem to remember presenting this like a month or 2 ago. I thought I sent you something with tank cars. But okay. I'll save those for next time. This is just something I saw a picture of something like this, and I thought I could use a little tiny 2-door baggage car RPO thing. And this is all scratch built board by board, scribe siding, leftover bits and pieces from Grant Line and some castings from all over. You build a LaBelle kit, you can build something like this. It's basically the same style of construction, except underneath the scribe siding, there's a 1/32 layer of basswood running the opposite grain direction to give it stability so things won't crack at some future date. That's something you might want to consider whenever you're gluing up scribe siding. If you can sneak in a piece of 1/32 behind it running the opposite grain direction, that'll stabilize everything. So you've got basically 2-ply plywood. And you hide it on the inside and you won't notice it, but it'll strengthen everything. Okay, whatever else is next. Oh, just the other end. Yeah, well, it's a little dim over there. I don't remember. Yeah, that's just single boards on the end of the roof extended out. There's a cardstock joint in there somewhere that holds it all together. But basically my usual construction with little brass railings on the back. Actually, I put those together. I solder those all together upside down in the car to get this. And I drill the holes first, put all the wires in, then solder together upside down, then pull it out from underneath and then slide it back in from the top because it's already in alignment then. So, and I know everything fits in those exact holes every time that way. Seems crazy and tedious, but it actually works rather well as opposed to trying to line it up, drill holes later. So drill the holes first, and everything has to go where the holes are then. Let's keep going. Well, that looks familiar. I think that's the end product of what we're going to have at the end of about 2 weeks from now.
Yep.
Oh, it's a sneak preview. You didn't see it. It wasn't here.
Nothing to see here.
Keep moving right along. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. Move along.
Yep. And this looks like that's the last one. So,
Yeah.
all
I'm
right.
gonna have to check my slides to see what I sent you because I don't remember these 3 being on it at all.
Yeah. Yep. That's what you sent me. So,
Oh.
all right.
Okay.
Any questions for Martin?
Next victim.
All right, so we'll move on. And next, Greg Cassidy sent me some some slides, but he's not going to be here tonight. So he did send a brief narrative, and basically it's just a 3 looks at the Altoona Model Works Pensy brick signal cabin in O scale. This is what everything looks like once you open up the kit, and that's all the fun stuff you have to work with. And then the next 2 is in the middle of construction on the left, and just about finished is on the right. So looks like looks like Greg's got some pretty good work going on this, and the brickwork looks like it came out really nicely. And so I'll try to answer any questions if there are any.
I like the roof on that.
Yeah, it's a neat looking roof. I like the windows myself. All righty, so I guess we'll move on and go to Bob Farquhar.
Okay, I want to do a true scratch building effort here. So I got the first slide there. There you go. That's going to start with. I have to wait to get enough wood to build a kit, but that's going to scratch build from there. That's it. maybe I'll do pine cone instead, because that wood is a little easier to work with than oak.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've got a kit that I use oak for shingling, and oh my gosh, that'll break your hand trying to cut it. It's good stuff though. Looks really nice. All right, thanks, Bob. All right, now we'll go on to Alan Rogers. You around there still, Alan?
I am still with you.
All right.
And this is supposedly a kit from Conowingo Models of Kello Station. And I really wanted to surprise Chris, and I really wanted to surprise Jim Kello. I couldn't surprise Chris, of course, because he's the host and I had to send all my pictures to him, but I can surprise Jim. So here we have the completed model. The only thing is, if you look closely, things don't seem quite right. And if you look at the lower right-hand picture, there appears to be a menu board down on the sidewalk. They're offering foie gras, they're offering soup du jour, and roulade and glacé. So if you go to the next slide, the explanation is this is not Kello Station, this is Kello's Restaurant Français. It's a French restaurant. And the right-hand picture, the lady in the red dress, that is Fifi Samad. She's showing up with her husband, Denis, for dinner. And the proprietor on the right is Madame Lafette. So you can go to the next slide if you want. Incidentally, all of the figures and the chairs are 3D prints. So if you look at the left-hand picture, I really wanted to interior detail this. You see the chef in there getting ready for dinner. I wanted wallpaper on the walls. What I had to do was eliminate the lower bracing to do this. And the way I did that was I put a hardwood floor over the existing foundation, which raised the floor about 1.5 millimeters. And so that replaces the lower bracing on the inside walls. And then I could fill in the gaps and I could hang my wallpaper. By the way, you can't see it, but there's a portrait on the wall of King Louis of France. There's a counter, there's a sink, there's a stove, there's an indoor table. So as you look towards the right now, it's starting to be dusk and the lights are coming on. So you can keep on rolling it, Chris, if you'd like. And we're gonna see some nighttime pictures, and you can just keep on rolling it here if you want to. So I believe that's the last slide. No, it's not. There's another one.
Yep.
But
Yeah, this one's
actually, the one on the right is a welcome. It's Nous vous souhaitons la bienvenue. That means we welcome you. And there's a problem when someone is a parish organist like me and a model railroader. Sometimes you get a collision of two worlds. And I'm a little bit crazy, but about 30 years ago, the organist of Notre Dame in Paris was in Bakersfield to do a concert. And he didn't speak English and he was blind. And we went to a Basque restaurant where all the food was served family style. And I had to sit next to the gentleman and explain what was on each plate and ask if he wanted some in French. So every plate that came by, pardon, maître, est-ce que voulez-vous du poulet frit? Would you like some fried chicken? Est-ce que voulez-vous de fromage bleu? Would you like some blue cheese? So anyway, I wanted to say, Chris, that this has been such a fun kit to build. And the problem when you go into business with this sort of thing, I'm constantly building presentation models, and I'm doing trial runs of stuff that goes to the fire pit because the slots and tabs weren't quite right. And this is the first kit that I've got to sit down in a long time and have fun with, right? It was just a total pastime. And thank you for doing a fine kit. So that's that.
Yeah, thanks for taking this on and doing something really cool with it. That's what I like to see happen with these kits is when I see a kit that I put out and somebody does something really off the wall with it, that I find that to be really cool. So
I think that's just outstanding, Alan. That is so creative. Just congrats on that.
Thank you.
Merci beaucoup, Alan.
Oh, merci, monsieur.
I love the paint job on the roof too, by the way.
Yeah. I did too.
Let me say something about the roof. Chris was very apologetic about the roofing material not having adhesive. And this was the first kit I'd ever assembled with that type of roofing. And I'll tell you, it was really nice because you can paint it. If you have roofing with adhesive already on it, you can't really paint it. It ruins the adhesive. So, Chris, you needn't apologize. It made creativity more possible.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm glad it all worked out. I was kind of interested to see if people would do some different colors on the roof, and that's the thing about the V-cut shingles is honestly I think I've done the roof on this kit faster than any other kit or any other model I've done. Just something about the way the V-cut shingles lay down is they came out really nice and they were very, very easy to do. I know a lot of people when I brought it to Harrisburg, a lot of people were like, "Oh, that looks very difficult. I'm not sure I can handle it." I'm like, no. It's the opposite. It is really easy. You just have to keep it straight. That's all you got to do. So
That's right.
All righty. Does anybody have any questions for Alan?
Where'd you get the lights, Al?
Those are HO scale street lights, and I've had them in my parts box for years. I don't even remember where I got them.
Nice.
Thank you. Works out well, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Where'd you get the French language?
Well, I play a lot of French organ literature. I'm a parish organist, and you have to learn a little bit of French to figure out what the composer wants you to do as far as the stops you're using and all that stuff. By the way,
yeah, but can you get decals in with the French language on them? How did you?
I see what you mean. I did those in Adobe Illustrator. I just got in there and I picked a font that looked a little bit exotic and printed it myself.
I'll be darned. That's great.
By the way, I have to apologize, but I am at the parish and the organ builders are upstairs finishing our new instrument. And after I'm done here, I'm going to have to leave the meeting and go tend to them. And I apologize for leaving early.
Thanks for being here, Alan.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All righty. Well, thank you, Alan. And thanks for sharing. It's a really very nice job there. All right. Next, we're going on to Gary Shergold. You there, Gary?
I'm here.
Ah, there we go. All right.
This is a part of my layout. It's a pop-up.
and it's the old farm.
Hmm.
And what I had done is it has been revamped. This shows you what it looked like originally. And if we go to the next slide,
Sure.
that's another view showing the one side, shows you the barn and the old farmhouse with fencing and that. It was in, had a lot of dust and that on it, so it needed a total revamp. Next slide. And these are shots of the new pop-up. It's this was built on the top of the old one. The buildings were removed. And on the last I built, I showed the stone farmhouse that I had done. And I liked it so much, I wanted it to go on to the farm. So I added that to the farm, reworked the groundwork, put in a couple of new buildings, and I retained the original barn. I just spruced it up a bit. You can see the roads were put in, sidewalks up to the house. There's the pig pen, which is a cornerstone building. It's a laser cut building. The barn, as I say, was the original old barn, just spruced up. And the pen holds the cattle and sheep and cows in. That was a cornerstone lean-to that I had put extra wall on and made it into an actual building. And on the white fenced picked area is the chickens and ducks.
Is this all, is this HO scale?
This is all HO.
Okay.
Is there another slide there?
Yes, there are.
Yeah. So this will give you another view. This is looking at the one side, just to show you that the bush in that is around, once that's dropped back into its the lift out area, it hides the seams. And I've redesigned the road that when it comes into the farm, it actually the road was actually moved probably from where the tree is sitting next to the house. That's where the original road originally came in. So I moved it a little further back. So just to give, it's a crowded area, but where it sits on the layout, it's pretty good.
Alrighty.
How large is that seam, Gary?
It's probably 2.5 by 2.5.
Okay.
Now the trees are the tree by the house. That is a method that Pat Rivard uses, and we were over at his home when he started doing these trees. He's got hundreds of these on his layout, and he showed me how to do it. He's got hundreds. I've got about maybe 3 of them. They do take a while to build. And the other trees are trees I make out of sepia and blend them together and try to make like an oak tree out of them.
What is sepia?
Devil's brush. It's a weed. And it grows in your, like I grow it year round in our gardens. And in the fall, it'll turn brown, and it's got a beautiful foliage on the top, which I harvest in the spring. And I just collect them and put them in a box. And then when I start building trees, I spend a day or 2 days putting them together.
Is that not sedum, Gary?
Sedum. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, sedum.
Sorry.
I used the wrong name.
You spray paint them? What? I mean,
Yeah, they're, what I do is I take 2 or 3 of them and bunch them together to make a round topped tree. And then I use floral tape. And then I paint them. And I put a glue mixture on the trunk. And I dip them in sawdust. And just blend the sawdust in to give it a rough trunk like.
yeah,
And then repaint them again.
I'll be darned.
And they're free.
Yeah,
They're all over.
I like free.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, no, on this model, you can see some of the things were salvaged. Well, the barn itself with the tin roof, that was salvaged from the old model.
Mhm.
And that's about the only thing that was salvaged. Everything else on there is new.
Is it a kit or scratch built?
The barn itself was a old kit. I can't remember the name. The roof was scratch built.
Hmm.
I didn't like the roof that came with it. So I scratch built the roof on it. And as I say, it's been all refreshed.
How about the other structures?
The other structures are, the pig pen is a cornerstone
Oh, okay.
laser kit. It was quite a nice kit.
Hmm.
The fence and everything came with it.
Hmm.
The red building where the other livestock are, it's a cornerstone lean-to, which was actually an addition to a barn. But what I did, you can see the back part here, I put I scratch built the wall on the back of it
Mm-hmm.
to make it a solid building. I didn't want it open.
Yeah.
But it turned out good.
I think there might be one more. Yep,
Okay.
there we go.
Yeah, that's just another view. The section of this where you can see the road going out, it connects into another road. And this actually sits in the upper back corner, just above the trestle that you see me sitting in front of
Mhm.
when you see me on the show. And it just blended in. And what I had done with the road, I used silica sand. I used to visit the CN yards, and every once in a while you might get lucky and there's a car will leak a little bit of sand. So I just go up there and grab a bunch of pails, fill it, and bring it home. I probably had it for about 20 years now.
Another free.
A freebie.
Freebie, yeah.
Yeah, I laid it down and glued, white glue. And then I took chalk pastels and put them on the road just to give it a dirty, weathered, well-used road look.
Gary, is this how you build your model railroad? I mean, you build seams separate and then just drop them in?
No, I build buildings, and then what I do is I work the scenery around the buildings.
Gotcha.
This is one of on my layout. My layout is 14 wide by 22 long. It's in a room that's 14 by 30.
Mhm.
And this is one of 2 pop-outs that I have. I have a double wishbone,
Mhm.
one on top of the other.
Mhm.
This is at the front end of the layout. And at the back end of the layout where the mountains are, I have another pop-out.
Very
And,
nice.
yeah, right now I'm just in the midst of refurbishing the layout. Over the years, a lot of dust has settled in. Some of the old techniques that I use, the zip texturing that, are way out of date. And now I'm using the ground foams and sawdust and things like that to spruce things up.
Gotcha.
Well, very nice. A lot of detail in a small area. So
Yeah.
hopefully maybe you can come back and show us some more of your layout at some point. That'd be
Yeah, I
great.
was hoping to, Jim had asked me, once I get things a little cleaned up, gonna maybe do a video and be able to show the layout.
All
So
right.
we'll work on that for the future.
Okay. So are there any questions for Gary? Okay, I guess not. And I think that was it. There we go. So the next My Build is July 20th. And of course it's featuring you, and there's my email on there. So email me your pictures and we'll get you set up to participate. So thanks for everybody that shared stuff tonight, and hopefully we can do this again next month. So back over to you, Jim.
That's fantastic. And Chris, if you can send me the information I need, then I'll get it in the next article, and everybody will get it published too. So thanks so very much, everybody. I really do appreciate you participating and sharing your modeling with us.